Hello everyone, today I will introduce to you the movie Godzilla 1. The exploration team inside a deep cave discovered a skeleton of Godzilla. On top of it are two parasitic embryos. One is still in a hibernation state. The other has already hatched and dug a hole to climb out. A deep ravine is left on the ground. How can a creature do such a thing? The parasite hatches on the bone of Godzilla. On the other side of the sea in Japan, a nuclear power plant suddenly experiences an earthquake. A large amount of nuclear radiation leaked. For the common interest, Tom, who is in charge of monitoring the plant, can only painfully close and seal it. Helplessly watching his wife being swallowed by radiation. For 15 years, Ford's son has repeatedly wanted him to come and live together, but Ron insisted on not going. He always investigated a matter secretly. He believed that the incident back then wasn't a natural disaster but was caused by an unknown creature. Because at that time, abnormal seismic waves were detected along with loud roars. Ron investigated further. He finally received that frequency. In order to prove his father's speculation, Ford and him infiltrated the nuclear quarantine zone. As soon as they entered, they saw a few dogs running around without any issue. Ron seemed to have noticed something. He took out his radiation detector and it displayed 0. His father took off his gas mask and, as expected, the nuclear leak was indeed problematic that year. At that moment, a group of soldiers appeared from behind, captured the father and son and brought them to a base. Inside the base, there was a giant incubator constantly absorbing nuclear radiation from the nuclear power plant. It was the unknown creature that was parasitic on Godzilla's bones and caused the incident that year. Afterwards, it transformed into the incubator and went into hibernation here, absorbing nuclear radiation. The military was afraid that if they killed it, the nuclear radiation in its body would be released, so they surrounded it and researched it. The one in charge of this special research was Dr. Zawa. Ron told him that it was because of it that there was a nuclear leak 15 years ago. When it appears, all equipment within a radius of 3 miles will be affected and even disabled. Once it absorbs all the radiation, it will break out of the incubator. Humans will be thrown back to the Stone Age. As soon as he finished speaking, the base began to shake. Staff reported the situation. The last 3 nuclear reactors were also drained. Electric shocks emitted stronger and stronger. Zawa realized that the situation was unstable, so he ordered the high-voltage power grid to be opened. The incubator was immediately broken. A powerful electric shock destroyed all the electricity in the blink of an eye. The ancient monster roared and, with a gentle motion, destroyed all the power grids. The feeling was extremely fierce, emitting a frightening growl. Humans were nothing in front of it, weak like ants. There was no resistance, and in just a few seconds, the base was destroyed. During the chaos, Ford saw his father fall from a high place and he couldn't do anything. It seemed like something was calling the creatures. They growled and then flew away, leaving destruction and many injured people. The military took over the area. Ron died on the way to the hospital due to serious injuries. They arrived at the Navy aircraft carrier. The brigadier named the creature, Muto, an unidentified giant species. Zawa told Ford the secret of this world. In 1951, the United States encountered an ancient sea creature that ate nuclear radiation, but surface radiation gradually decreased. They slowly went deep into the earth or deep sea, taking radioactive material from the core of the planet. The military was worried that it would threaten humanity, so they secretly used weapons to kill the creature. Even a nuclear bomb couldn't defeat it, but instead caused it to evolve further. Many countries secretly established an empire organization to search and study it. We call that creature Godzilla. A female Muto, hundreds of meters tall, moved slowly ahead. It was the embryo hibernating on Godzilla's bones from 10 years ago. Humans didn't know what to do with the current situation. Previously, this monster had caused the military's destruction, let alone now there were 2 monsters. Suddenly, another monster appeared outside their base. Its huge back rose above the surface of the water. But unlike Muto, it didn't seem interested in humans. It crossed below the destroyer. It seemed to be going towards the male Muto. Its giant body caused a tsunami before it even reached the shore. Under the fire, people could finally see its true shape. It was Godzilla. They thought there would be a big battle, but Muto trembled and ran away. Godzilla went back to the sea to continue chasing it. According to the research, the military believed that the male Muto flew away because it received a signal from the female Muto to mate. Based on their direction, they would eventually meet in San Francisco. The military wanted to use a nuclear bomb to make them explode when the monsters met. Zawa warned them that a nuclear bomb would only become food for the monsters, but the military believed that nothing could withstand a million-ton nuclear bomb. It was unexpected that the nuclear bomb being transported by rail was targeted by Muto. Devoured, it turned into food for the female Muto's eggs. The military were helpless and could only transport the bomb by water while using airplanes to lure the male Muto into the sea to eliminate it. However, the countdown timer was activated unexpectedly. The male Muto came flying down from the sky, smashing the battleship and then taking the nuclear bomb and giving it to the female Muto. They now had enough nuclear bombs to incubate their eggs and begin digging crazily. The army sent a suicide squad to retrieve the nuclear bomb in order to prevent it from detonating in the city. The soldiers jumped from a height of thousands of feet and began their mission. Without any instruction, they failed with no backup, but were successful without any support. At this moment, they saw the female Muto laying eggs and a tail hundreds of meters long cutting through the smoke, revealing a giant shadow. This was Godzilla, the enemy of Muto. The two giant creatures began to fight. Godzilla charged forward and grabbed the female Muto's neck and bit it. The female Muto fell to the ground. At this time, the male Muto arrived and stuck its claws into Godzilla. The female Muto took the opportunity to knock him down. Facing attacks from both sides, Godzilla showed a rare sense of helplessness. The soldiers advanced to the place where the female Muto was laying eggs, seeing thousands and thousands of eggs inside. Once they hatched, it would be the end of the world. They found the nuclear bomb but didn't have time to dismantle it, so they could only take it away. Ford saw a fuel truck behind him, turned around, and opened the lid. At the same time, Godzilla was collapsing. Tens of thousands of eggs turned into dust. Muto saw the fire on the cave and immediately returned to its nest. Seeing that all its offspring were dead, it let out a wailing cry. Suddenly, it saw a tail from afar emitting a green light. The female Muto was attacked by Godzilla and fell to the ground. The male Muto immediately attacked from behind. Godzilla used its tail to knock the male Muto into a building, causing it to stick and collapse. Godzilla was buried in the rubble while the female Muto chased after the soldiers carrying the nuclear bomb. As it was about to swallow the bomb, Godzilla appeared and bit its neck, then breathed atomic breath until its neck was burned through. Godzilla also ran out of energy, and fell heavily into the rubble. The two fearsome Mutos were finally defeated, and the world returned to peace. Godzilla lay motionless in the rubble, and everyone thought it was dead. Suddenly, it took a breath, slowly regained consciousness, and returned to the sea. The movie ends here. If you enjoyed it, please leave a comment.